society, and with the pandemic, of course, connectivity has never been so important. We're going to be talking to a global thought leader on the Internet of Things. That's next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, the pandemic certainly changed the planet, and one thing it changed for the good is connectivity. And by that, I mean people talking to each other through computers and objects talking to each other. To talk about that today, Jeremy Prince, he is the president of Sigfox USA. It's a global company, and you are in 72 countries, is that right?
Exactly. Thanks for having me, Jeff. It's a
Yes.
pleasure being there.
Well, I'm thrilled because I'm not techie, and so I asked you ahead of the show to kind of dumb it down for us. When people hear the Internet of Things, what does that mean?
Well, to be honest, I wondered the first time I heard it too, so perfectly fine with that question. Internet of Things, as you said, we're in a world where we all communicate, and as persons we're used to communicating, but IoT is taking it to the next level. We're getting objects to communicate. So of course they're not going to give you a phone call, but it's something like having a fridge in a restaurant, knowing when the temperature is not the right temperature, because there's a lot of things that are linked to that from an hygiene point of view. So the fridge is going to send the data saying, I've got a problem. It could be a cow in the field, trying to track it. You don't know where it is. Internet of Things, the device is going to tell you where it is. It can even tell you if it's got a temperature, so that you can isolate it if it's ill.
Wow.
So lots of things.
Tell us, we're going to show some video of your company. It's just mammoth. I was just so impressed when I saw it online. Tell us the history of the company.
So the company was founded around 10 years ago, and it was probably founded with one idea. It's you don't need to build a motorway to ride a bicycle. And that's what the whole company is about. It's using small amounts of data instead of the huge 5G, 4G, etc. And by doing that, you've got incredible benefits from an energy consumption, from a price point of view, and that allows you to connect almost everything in the world. And that's the main idea.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a new technology, and it's, I think, awesome, although I'm not really a tech guy, and I better not say too much, otherwise my engineers are going to kill me when I go back to the office. But basically, it's a new technology using old technology. So we use radio. The whole technology was built using radio. So
Wow.
my grandpa was in the First World War. He was a telegraph on a ship using Morse. So it's probably the same technology in a way.
That's really cool. And you probably recognized an accent. Jeremy's from East Texas. No, it's a little farther east than that. Tell us your journey. How did you get here?
So, in fact, I am originally British. So we're all linked. We were having that conversation before until it went a bit wrong a few centuries ago. Anyway.
Water under the bridge.
So, no, my family moved to France when I was a kid. So I grew up in France. I joined Sigfox in Paris a couple of years ago. And as part of my job, I was overseeing the US. And of course, US is the biggest economy in the world. There are lots of things that need to be connected here. And we've invested heavily in the country because we believe if you want to be a global player, and as you said, we're in 72 countries, you need to be in the US.
Amazing. We'll talk about reopening schools and colleges and universities and the role that your company plays.
Okay, so as I said, IoT allows almost anything. And one of the things that we're working on currently is everything linked to safely going back to school, to college, but also to the office. So you can use data for a lot of things. Space occupancy, making sure you don't have too many people at the same time in the same place. You can even remotely monitor temperature if you want to do temperature monitoring. I just saw yesterday that there's a product that's just been launched where you walk through this sort of gate, takes your temperature, sends the data. It can be contact tracing, so to know we've been in contact today. If unfortunately one of us has got COVID, then because we have that little bracelet, we know that you've been in contact with me. I'll assume I had it. We know that who's had it, so we can reach out to them, get them to isolate, get them to go and get tested. So all sorts of things, even things like making sure that people wash their hands. So maybe not individually, but when you're in a restaurant, you want to make sure that employees follow the hygiene rules. So you can just have data saying, okay, today there were 200 people, 200 times someone washed his hands. If the next day it's only 10, you got a problem. You got to remind your employees that they need to wash their hands.
Well, I said at the beginning of the broadcast that you're a global thought leader. I know you're often asked to serve on panels. We've got a graphic from a panel that you served on not too long ago. Tell us about that. When we talk about a smart city, what do you mean?
So smart cities mean a lot of things because, as I said, IoT can do almost everything, but currently we're starting to work, we're testing the technology in a city in Texas nearby, and they started with the idea of connecting, and I know it's gonna not sound pretty sexy, but they're connecting trash bins.
Really?
Trash bin monitoring is a big thing. We also do it in theme parks. So number one, to make sure where they are. Number two, to make sure that they're not overspilling.
Yep.
And it changes the way the cities can approach it, because if you're looking at, I suppose you've already gone to put some paper or some glass in a static dumpster. Well, quite often when you go, it's overspilling, you've got it all over on the floor.
Right.
And today they have to work on routines. They go, let's say, every Thursday. Maybe they don't need to go on the Thursday because it's half empty, and maybe they should have gone 2 days before. So that information allows them to optimize the way they work. So it's better from a hygiene point of view, and it's also optimizing how they work, and it's also got some financial benefits for them.
Do you believe that one day that everything will be connected? I mean, I'm only imagining you go to a grocery store, and as you're walking down the aisle, you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if we could connect this to this. And
well, it's a bit scary when we say everything's going to be connected, but we've got to see it in the right way. It's progress. I was joking a few minutes ago about the fact that a few months ago, in the US, the biggest power in the world, we ran out of toilet paper.
Right.
How can that be possible? Well, this is typically something that IoT can help, because you'll be monitoring all across the logistics chain where the toilet paper is as you've got sufficient numbers in the retail shops, etc., etc. So I'm joking about toilet paper, but if you think about vaccines, when the vaccines are going to arrive, we're going to have to deliver hundreds of millions of vaccines across the country.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that they arrive in a timely manner, the right quantities, that they stay at the right temperature all along the journey, because otherwise you'd just be injecting some inefficient thing in people, and that there are no shocks. So that's a good example of how IoT can help.
I think that's brilliant. And when we talk about connecting just about everything, you guys are always inventing and reinventing. There's a video that I want to share with you right now. So cool. When I saw that, it fascinated me that if you could automate a bird feeder, you can really automate just about anything. I mean, this is a fun company to work with, isn't it?
It's what I love in it is that you talk to so many different companies, and you discover what they do, and you try to solve their pain points with them. How do you help them improve the way they work? How do you help them get more efficient? How do you help them save money? And sometimes the nice side of things is that you can also, in a way, help the planet. We got a distinction from the United Nations around helping protect wildlife, because in Africa we equip rhinoceroses with trackers.
Yes.
Because our technology is, as I said, very robust and very efficient. So it allows to track the rhinoceros. You know where they are, so you can fight poaching. So sometimes we also not only help businesses, but we help wildlife.
Yes. Well, the company is on kind of a rapid trajectory. I mean, for really 10 years old. That's amazing to me that you're now in 72 countries. Look into your crystal ball. What do you see for the future of your company and the Internet of Things?
I think that people have been talking about the Internet of Things for years now. It was the big thing, and it wasn't actually really taking off as much as we hoped it would. And I think now it's happening. We can really see now we work with huge players. We started working with small, little, really tech-savvy, interesting companies, but they were small startups. Now we're working with the likes of DHL, with Michelin, so now it's really starting. When you've got those big players that are moving into the space, is that you're getting there. Plus, I think that the COVID is also demonstrating the need for technology.
Yes.
So it's now.
Wow. Well, such a fascinating discussion. Jeremy, we'll have to have you back again. We're gonna put the website up to end the segment. Sigfox.us is the website. Jeremy Prince, the president of Sigfox USA. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.